pay attention now. Something is listening, and it hates when people start asking the wrong questions. But if you're here, you're already asking them. Some truths don't open your eyes. They burn them open. This is one of those, if you've ever felt like something about reality is off, like the world shifts when you're not looking, like your memories don't perfectly match the world everyone else agrees on, this is the moment you finally understand why. Because today, I'm going to prove something most people are terrified to even consider. The simulation is real, and your memory is the first part of you it rewrites. Reality isn't stable, and it never was. Let's start with a simple fact. Human perception is not designed for truth. It's designed for efficiency. Neuroscientist Donald Hoffman, UC Irvine, proved through evolutionary game simulations that organisms evolved to perceive useful illusions, not reality itself, not the world as it is, but the world as it needs to look for survival. Your brain hides 99.999% of real information from you. This isn't speculation. This is published research. Everything you see is a compressed render, a low-resolution interface, a simulation layer, and you walk through it like it's the whole world. Your brain already edits. Your reality, here's where it gets worse. Your brain fills in missing information every second. This is called predictive processing, and it's how your visual cortex works. You never see raw reality, you see predictions. MIT researchers in 2017 proved that the brain guesses before it receives sensory data. You live inside the guess, and the guess can be manipulated. Now imagine a system feeding your brain exactly the predictions it wants you to have. You wouldn't question it. You couldn't, because the prediction would feel like reality. Digital amnesia. Your memory is being rewritten. This part is real and documented. In 2015, Kaspersky Lab and Microsoft published a study on digital amnesia. People now forget information they know they can look up. Memory transfer from short-term to long-term storage collapses under digital overload. People remember devices, not facts. This is not natural biology. This is environmental overwrite. You think you're forgetting more lately? You're not imagining it. The more you rely on external systems, the less your brain encodes. This is exactly how you break a human simulation. You remove the ability to store independent memory. A mind without memory can't detect inconsistencies, can't see glitches, can't sense updates. It follows the script. The Mandela effects they don't want to talk about. Forget the childish ones, Berenstain versus Berenstain. Let's talk about the legitimate anomalies. The Lindbergh case. Millions of people worldwide remember the kidnapping of Charles Lindbergh's baby as an unsolved case. In reality, the man was caught, tried, convicted, and executed. Memory researchers still don't understand how entire populations misremembered the same historical outcome. New Zealand's location. Survey results across multiple countries show that up to 45% of people remember New Zealand being northeast of Australia. Today, it's southeast. Geography doesn't migrate. Memory does. But why does it migrate in a synchronized global pattern? There is no scientific explanation for this. The missing episode phenomenon. There are thousands of reports of missing episodes, of shows people swear they saw. SpongeBob, Pokemon, 𝘠𝑰𝐺 the Cowardly Dog. Animation studios deny the existence. Fans describe the same scenes in identical detail. Identical errors do not occur in isolated minds. They occur in corrupted databases. When data gets rewritten, so does the past. Here's another real fact. In 2019, Google Photos accidentally generated composite faces that did not belong to anyone. People appeared in personal memory albums who never existed. Google admitted it was a machine learning hallucination. But think about it. Your memories are stored by services you don't control. They generate faces. They recreate events. They tell you, this is your past. If the system creates a memory and you accept it as yours, what's the difference? A simulation is not a digital world. It's a world where the original no longer matters. Only the version you're given. Baudrillard wasn't being philosophical, he was describing a system. Jean Baudrillard wrote that we live in a world where there is more and more information and less meaning. He described 4 levels of simulation, but you don't need the theory. Here's the simple truth. We no longer experience reality. We experience representations of representations, food that looks more like advertisements, people that act like their social media profiles, cities that prioritize aesthetics over function, news that prioritizes engagement over accuracy, emotions curated by algorithms, identities shaped by validation loops. The simulation isn't hidden. We're drowning in it. The hyperreal has replaced the real, and we didn't notice because it happened slowly. The brain fog you feel is not a coincidence. Stanford neuroscientist Anthony Wagner discovered something important. The human brain breaks under micro-interruption. Notifications, vibrations, alerts, scrolling, all of it fractures memory encoding. This creates measurable cognitive drift, forgetting conversations, losing track of days, feeling detached from time, emotionally flattening, confusing dreams with real events. This isn't randomness. This is an overloaded system throttling your perception because the environment is incompatible with your hardware. A simulation pushing more data than the biological machine can handle. The rendering problem. Here's where it gets interesting. Photographers using long exposures in crowded places sometimes capture ghost frames, people duplicated, objects overlapping, shadows with no source, limbs misaligned with bodies. Scientists blame rolling shutter artifacts, but a rolling shutter artifact doesn't explain why. Duplicates are often too close. Directionality doesn't match. Distortions appear only on specific objects. Sometimes a person's reflection doesn't match their position. These are computational problems, rendering problems, not optical ones. The world updates and you don't notice. This is the part you won't like. There are places on Earth that have been silently updated without public explanation. The Georgia Guidestones. Before they were destroyed in 2022, the Guidestones had inconsistencies in stone weight, panel orientation, shadow length across years. Inscriptions documented differently in separate archives. Even official measurements contradicted each other. Structures don't change. Records do. The missing villages in Siberia. In the early 2000s, satellite records documented tiny Siberian settlements that simply vanished with no structural remains. No fires, no collapse, no ruins. Just wiped, like objects removed from a rendering. So what exactly is the simulation? Let's be clear, I am not telling you we live in a video game. I'm not selling sci-fi fantasies. Here is the grounded scientific version. Human perception is a generated interface, not reality. Proven by cognitive science, memory is degradable and externally overwritten. Digital amnesia plus predictive coding. The environment we live in is hyper-real. Baudrillard's theory plus modern media saturation, collective memory anomalies exist globally. Verified psychological studies. Digital systems already curate your past and identity. Google, social media, personalized feeds. Reality is experienced through layers of interpretation, not truth. Philosophy plus neuroscience. Combine all of these and you get a self-reinforcing simulation built from perception, memory, media, and algorithms. So seamless that the original reality becomes irrelevant. The simulation is real because you experience the world through manufactured layers. You don't see the world. You see the system that interprets it for you. The most dangerous part. Here's what you must understand. Once memory collapses, identity collapses. Once identity collapses, control becomes effortless. A person with unstable memory doesn't question contradictions. A person with unstable identity doesn't resist influence. A person drowning in data doesn't search for truth. The simulation doesn't need to trap you. It only needs you distracted. Final message, don't go back to sleep. Pay attention now. Something is listening, and it hates when people start asking the wrong questions. If you felt something shifting inside you while watching this, if the world feels a little less solid, if your memories suddenly feel too light to trust, good. It means your mind is waking up from the version of reality you were fed. And whatever you do next, don't go back to sleep.